You brought it into the defendant's repair shop to fix it. A vehicle held hostage. He's been paid in full and my car is still sitting on his lot for 10 months. Is her car running now? Yes. What? Says when, and she's about to blow a gasket. He refuses to give me my money back. He's not going to give me your money. Of course he's not. That's why we're here. Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Jacqueline Putt is suing car dealer Freeman Monger for the return of her car. Lost wages and emotional distress. Order. All rise. Your Honor. This is case number 85 on the calendar. The matter of Putt versus Monger. Thank you. You're welcome. Judge, parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat. Miss Putt, what kind of car do you have? It's a 1999 Mazda Millennia. And when did you purchase it? I've been had that car maybe about 3 years. Who did you purchase it from? From a private owner. And how much did you pay for it? To $900? At some point, you were having some trouble with the car, and you brought it into the defendant's repair shop to fix it. When was that? That was on August 4th of 2015. What kind of work do you do? I am an account executive for a company. Central Payments. Are you still working for them? No. No. Your Honor. I'm not. Where are you working now? Right now? I'm unemployed. When did you become unemployed? The first of this year when my car wasn't running and I couldn't get around to do my job. Well, you brought your car in August. Yes. Ma'am, were you working in August? Yes. Ma'am, I was September. No. Ma'am, you told me that you lost your job January 1st when you could no longer get around. But I was still actually employed with that company. They still had me. If I could do the work, I could still do it. After the car wasn't fixed by January 1st, I could no longer work for them. That's not what I asked you. I want to know if you got a paycheck from the company in September of 2015. No. Ma'am, I did not. October of 2015. No. Ma'am, I did not. November of 2015. No. Ma'am. December of 2015. No. Ma'am. So that you were unemployed as of August of 2015. Yes. Ma'am. Well, that's better. Just getting to know the people that I'm dealing with. Okay. Now, it's your claim that you brought your car into the defendant to be fixed in August, but that you fully paid for the repairs on the car, and the defendant refuses to give you the car. His claim is that you didn't fully pay for the car, and he's got a counterclaim for storage and money owed for work done on the car. So you brought the car in August, and who did you see? Mrs. Puig. I saw Mr. Munger. Okay. And did he tell you how much the car would be to be fixed? Yes, ma'am. And what did you tell her? The car just didn't start with the motor. It started from another problem she was having with the car. That problem was taken care of. When, I can't give you the exact date because, give me a month. It was in August. What was wrong with the car then? She had ran over something, and she needed oil paint and a radiator. And that's what caused her to mess that motor up. How much did you charge her when she came in August? The initial job wasn't $400. I don't know the exact fee. Well, let's figure it out. I mean, we're in court today. We have to know what we're in court for. Do you work for him? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Can we move this along? Please. Before I start pulling my hair out. The initial job when she brought in the car in August. Yes, ma'am. It was for an oil paint gasket along with a tune-up set with the parts and the labor included. It was about roughly $100. Would you show me the receipt and the bill? Show me all your paperwork on that initial. The first one. Yes. On the initial paperwork, Your Honor. The initial paperwork. Okay. I don't have all the receipts for the initial paperwork. Well, then I'll rely on her. Well, she might not have everything. I don't know whether she does or not. You have nothing. I have something. Well, show me what you have for August. That's what I was asking you. It's just for August. There was no payment made on that until September. That's fine. Did she make a payment in September? Yes. Ma'am? But it was after she brought the car back for the motor job. And we told her that we couldn't take on... Just a second. Did she pay you August 18th? Because the dates on this are crossed out. Of 2015. $140. No, I don't have... No, that is a lie. She promised to make... Don't speak. She promised. A lie. Your Honor, what part of don't speak didn't you follow? I want you to tell me how much in total payments. Everything. Everything. You received $780. $780? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, I don't know what this is for. This, Your Honor, if you want to give me a chance to explain. Just a second. With a crossed out date in August. Your Honor, I have no opportunity to tell you what that is. I want you to tell me exactly what this is. Okay. On August the 4th, 20 finance. I took my car to Mr. Munger's place of business to have an oil leak fixed. Okay. No, just, you're not answering I'm going to tell you what they received. No. I don't want you to tell me your story. We got finished with you running your story when I asked you. You never gave me a chance to tell you my story. When I asked you when you were employed, and you told me you stopped working in January when you didn't have a car. That's the only part you told me. You didn't give me a chance to explain my story about the car. And what I'm telling you is, I want you to tell me where you got this, not the rest of them. That was the last payment for it. The oil leak that was done, the oil leak was $440. That was the last payment of $140. And who signed this payment? The same person that signed all the other receipts. No, you can see that it was a different person. Well, if it was still somebody that's employed by Mr. Munger. That's who signed the receipt. Okay, because we're talking about two separate instances. I know exactly. I read your complaint. Madam, I read your complaint. And what your complaint said was, in August, you brought your car in because it had an oil leak. You picked up the car from him. You fully paid them for the car. When you picked up the car, you took the car home. And then it still wasn't running correctly. It broke down. You brought the car back to him. You fully paid for him to do other work on the car. And he refuses to give you the car. That's your story. Now I'm asking you some serious questions. This is your evidence. You gave me 4 receipts. 3 receipts total. Exactly what this lady says that you gave to them in total, which is $780 in total for all the work. Well, you have receipts signed by her. You're not paying attention. I'm looking right at you. Judge, you're not paying attention. I'm looking right at you. Judge, you have 3 receipts signed by her that aren't crossed out, that aren't changed in any way for $780. You have 1 receipt. That receipt does not have anything to do with the motor part of it. So we can disregard that because when I put that on there, those are receipts that I could find, and that's what got scanned. That receipt was the last payment for the oil leak problem. Starting with the next receipt, and the other 2 are the ones that pertain to the motor, along with this right here, where they lost my key. I had to go purchase another key. There's one other receipt that I did not get from them. A $65 payment is the only thing that I didn't receive that I did not get from him. I paid him a total of $925 for the motor. He said $800 for the motor, $125 for the radiator. He's been paid in full, and my car is still sitting on his lot for 10 months. He refuses to give me my money back. All I asked you was what this receipt was for. That receipt was for the last payment. And just a second. And who signed it? Judge Judy. If you let me look at it, I probably could tell you who signed it. Fine. You hand it to me. Whoever signed it is somebody that works for his company. That's him. That's his signature at the bottom of that receipt. And that was the last payment for the motor part. For the oil leak. That has nothing. The other 3 are the ones pertaining to the motor. Along with, because they lost the key to my car, I had to go and buy a key because they couldn't do it because they need a proper documentation in order to have a key made. Now, she paid you, according to you, $780. That's all that she has receipts for. No, it's not. I'm not looking at you now. That's all that you have receipts for that I accept. $780. What I want to know from you is, what was the cost that you quoted her for the second repair to the car? The labor was $390. Show me what the estimate. Your Honor, if you were to add the, I don't want to hear from you, this is not ending up with $5. You don't know for you. I want you to understand that. I don't know how. This is the motor job. Okay, let me see for a moment. Now, I want to see the first job. I thought I just gave it to you. Is that? Yeah, that's the first one. $241. That's the labor. The part is on that yellow receipt. Just a sec. I'm interested in your receipts, your bills, engine oil pan, 130, spark plugs, labor. All of this together was $241. 44 for the first job. That's the labor, not the parts. The parts is the yellow receipt that you have. And those parts, the amount that cost the customer payment, what they owe is circled. That's O'Reilly's. It's their prices. He paid for those parts. So she has to pay for her parts and the labor. I'm discounting this. Okay. This is her invoice because you have a $5. 000 ridiculous counterclaim that I want you to forget about. 2. Now, she has a car that's maybe worth $1. Feener. She brings it into you, and you're charging her $1, $500 to get the car up and running. Is her car up and running now? Is her car running now? Yes. What? When was the engine? The motor is knocking. Miss Jack, you came up here. I'm going to say goodbye to you. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. I understand. The motor is not in the best condition. The motor is knocking and the motor was no good. We bought the motor used to get the discounted price. A good price for it. So by the time she came and made another payment so that we could go ahead and finish the job, the 30-day warranty was over and it was done. We told her that we can fix it again when she has to buy a new motor because she's still old. He had already paid for everything. He's complete. With the money that she paid you so far, he's complete with his, at least the parts that he bought, and she still doesn't have a car. The motor's 800 us itself. The motor that you picked to fix her car doesn't work. There's a 30-day warranty on it. The motor that you picked on her car that never left your lot doesn't work. Now, if she took the car out and there was a 30-day warranty and she drove the car around for 3 weeks and she started to have trouble with it, who knows? But the car never left your lot. So if you picked a bad motor, that's your problem and your boss's problem. Do you understand? I hear you. You hear me? Judge Judy continues in a moment and later today. Did you ever tell them that that's the dumbest thing I ever heard? Well, that's the dumb thing he did. Well, I'm going to undo dumbness. Okay, I'm going to undo dumbness. Please do, because he's very dumb. No, you're very dumb. Real cases. Real people. Judge Judy. Jacqueline Pwitt says, car dealer Freeman Munker is withholding her vehicle. Freeman is countersuing for money owed for work completed, storage fees, and harassment. Now, is her car running or is it not running? It's running. It's not running in the best condition. Now, when you brought the car into them, was it running? No, Mom. It was towed in. It was towed in. Yes, ma'am. You can go and get the car and take it someplace else. And I'm returning to you the $780 that I find that I have good receipts for, so you can go and get your car. Take it. And if you want to total it, you total it. I'm returning to you the $780 that you paid to have it fixed so far because it's not running properly. Do you understand? No, ma'am, I don't. Well, I'm going to say it to you one more time, and then I'm going to say goodbye. You towed your car into the defendant's establishment. You can tow it out or you can drive it out. I'm returning to you the $780 that you have receipts for because they did not put in what I consider an appropriate motor. Because if it's not running now properly, then you didn't get any part of your money's worth. And what part of that don't you understand? You're getting your car back. Put your hand down. You're getting your car back and $780. That's what you're getting. May I speak? Your Honor. That's what you're getting. You're getting your car back. I still have a receipt here for a key that they lost that I had to back, which goes along with that. I've been trying to give this to him to show this to you. $780 and she's picking up the car within the next 5 days. Your counterclaim is dismissed. $400 of what you're saying was done for the payment for the job that had already been done. No, it wasn't because you have a bill there for $241. Listen to me. She's getting her car back, plus $780. Do we understand each other? Well, we're also doing for storage fees. But that's denied. $780 and she's picking up a car. Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're done. You may step out. I went to check on my car. Called them at least once every 2 weeks. She didn't even consider the motor I had bought for the car. Is my car running? No, it's not. The motor we had wouldn't work. What she gave her back was I don't care about a motor not working. Well, the credit we did in front. Whatever you got to do. You gave me a fee. I paid you that she paid on. I want my car fixed. I was trying to help her. I thought I could trust him, but I couldn't. And now they got out there and lied about what was paid. That's how I got in trouble helping. I paid that man in full. If he had told me the motor cost $1, do instead $1, $200 is what he would have gotten. And now the next case, all parties in the matter of Phillips versus Steele Torres. Step forward. Aaron and Vanessa Phillips are suing their former landlords, 20-year-olds, Melvin Steele and girlfriend, Azenith Torres, for the return of their security deposit and rent. Hey, Steele, are you a couple? Yeah. Yes. Did you rent a house or a room or a condo? What did you rent? We rented a townhouse and then, just a sec. Listen, I ask questions. Oh, sorry. Judge Judy continues in a moment. You rent a room. People give you $1. Yes, they're in the place for a week. And a week later, along with the authorities, police came. Police as well. They were told, get out of the room. What are you out of your mind? Real cases. Real people. Judge Judy. Aaron and Vanessa Phillips are suing their former landlords, 20-year-olds, Melvin Steele and girlfriend, Azenith Torres, for the return of their security deposit and rent. Now, you rented a townhouse when, probably October 2015. When did you rent the master bedroom to the plaintiffs? Mr. and Mrs. Phillips. Month was April. How much rent did you charge them for the master bedroom? We charged them $1,000 deposit and it was supposed to be $1,000 rent. But we brought it down to $800 and they still didn't give us just a second. Okay, how much money did they give you in April? They gave me $1,000 deposit and $600 rent. Then $100 a couple of days later, and it still owed us $100. So they gave you in total $1. Yesterday, yes. They gave me in total $1. $700. On what date did they move in? Probably be April. Between like the 5th to the 7th? I'm not sure. And when were they told that they had to get out? Probably a week or two later. And they were told that they had to get out because you didn't have the right to rent that room. Or because you rented the room to somebody else. What was the reason? The reason was we were supposed to get them on the lease. And at the time, they weren't on the lease. Well, we were in the process of doing it. You rented them the room and you didn't have the right to rent them the room at the time. Shh. When you rented them the room, you didn't have the right to rent them the room. So they were told to leave. Who told them to leave? The property manager came in, along with somebody else. Yes, correct. With who? Along with somebody else that was supposed to rent from us. Rent what from you? We have 3 rooms in the room. Okay. And we had somebody else leave at the end of the month. Correct. Not correct. Don't ask me correct. Mr. Steele, listen carefully. Sir, listen carefully. You took their $100, $700, and a week later they were told they had to get out of the room. That's what the case is about. Why didn't you give them their money back? I did agree to give them their money back. So why didn't you do it? Because there was an agreement that we had. They told us if you give us your TV, you don't have to pay us rent. Did you ever tell them that? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Well, that's the dumb thing he did. Well, I'm going to undo dumbness. Okay, I'm going to undo dumbness. Please do. Because he's very dumb. No, you're very dumb. I'm not very dumb. You rent a room. People give you $1, $700 a week later. They're told by the building management that they can't live there. They're kicked out. And you say he said he would take the TV instead of the $1. Yet, that's not my fault because we had a discussion. Okay, here. We have to go back a little bit. Now, you advertise for a room. Where did you advertise for the room? Craigslist? Craigslist. Yes. So total strangers answered the ad. They gave you $1. Lotus and cash. Another $600. And a couple of days later, another $100. So $1, $700 altogether. They're in the place for a week. And a week later, along with the authorities, police came. Police as well. They were told, get out of the room. Okay, what are you out of your mind? Okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1. Zachina. Wow. Judge duty continues in a moment. And on the next judge duty, we got our money back. It's awesome. They stole our money and burned many other people at the same time. A week later, we were told we had to move. Eviction notice was posted on the door. They were in eviction when they rented to us. 2 weeks prior to us even moving in, they had a lawsuit filed against them from the property manager for back rent. So they took our money, and there was other leases that we found in the house because they moved out when we moved in. And there were other leases in the house from like 6 or 7 other people that they took money from. There's people knocking on the door that I'm living there at saying, when am I going to move in? The joke's on all of us, eh? Yes. Just be careful who you rent from.